Joining us now for more on what this means and how unusual this is Georgia Congressman and member of the House Oversight and Reform Committee, Congressman Jody Hice. Good to see you. Good morning.
Good morning, Rob. Great to be with you.
So House Speaker Nancy Pelosi basically says that the bill is going to go for a vote no matter what the CBO report finds, which is really unusual. What'd you make of that?
Yeah, I mean, look, this is the largest spending bill in the history of our country. We don't even know what it's going to cost. That's insane. It's not only what Pelosi has pushed in the past with the pass it to find out what's in it. This is pass it to find out how much it's going to cost. Absolute insanity, irresponsible to do this to the American people, and even as members of Congress. How in the world are we expected to vote on a 2,100-page monstrosity that we don't even know how much it's going to cost, and it's going to transform our country in terms of massively moving us further towards a state of socialism? This is something that is just absolutely insane in every way.
So Congress has relied on the CBO for more than a century. They're nonpartisan. They've gotten it right before, and they've definitely been wrong before. I understand that if you are pushing a bill and the CBO comes out with a favorable report, you're going to pat yourself on the back and say, look, this is more reason for us to vote on it. But generally what's happened in a bipartisan fashion is if the CBO comes out with a concerning report, we take a pause on the bill and we examine what the problems are and try to correct that, so then we can, it has a more likely, the bill becomes more likely to pass in a bipartisan way. Nancy Pelosi is throwing that history and that precedent out the window here by holding a vote maybe tomorrow, possibly this weekend, but she says definitely before next Thursday.
Yeah, and I think that's exactly why she's doing it. She doesn't want any members of Congress to know how much it's going to cost. She doesn't want the American people to know how much it's going to cost. She wants to pass it first and then walk away from it. And look, this is $4.5 trillion of new spending. It is $1.5 trillion of new taxes, $3 trillion of new debt for our country, 150 new government programs, $80 billion to increase, double the size of the IRS, over $500 billion for the Green New Deal. This is a monstrous bill, a transformative type of bill that will have enormous impact on our country. And I believe precisely Nancy Pelosi wants to pass it before we know just how damaging it is.
I want to talk about the vaccine mandates, but I know that Nancy Pelosi can only lose 3 Democrats in the House for this bill to pass. You've been in Congress a long time. Do you have anybody that might be on the fence in the House on the Democratic side?
I would think there would be scores of people on the fence. I mean, you look what happened not only in Virginia and New Jersey, but yesterday in South Carolina. We've got members of the Democratic side who are retiring by the bus full.
Yeah.
And there's only more to come. And I cannot imagine there not being a number of Democrats looking at this bill with great trepidation, understanding that their political future is at risk if they support it.
Yeah, outside the Beltway, Congressman, I'll just tell you, and I'm sure you're hearing this in Georgia as well, but people think this is going to be a straight party line vote in the House. Then, the rubber will really hit the road, so to speak, when it reaches the Senate. We'll see what Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema do. I'm not convinced. Like you, I think there's some Democrats that are not going to vote for this. And again, she can only lose 3. All right, OSHA suspended their vax mandate for companies with over 100 people now in response to that Fifth Circuit ruling down there in the state of Louisiana. These vax mandates are just a huge overreach. Again, saying that doesn't make me anti-vax. It just makes me someone that's questioning vaccine mandates for a million of people. Where do you fall on this issue?
Yeah, look, the problem is not with the vaccine. The problem is with government mandating and enforcing it upon people. This goes far beyond the scope of our government, and it's so hypocritical. Joe Biden himself said just a few months ago that he was strongly opposed to any government mandate. He flip-flopped on that. This goes against science. The pandemic is going away. We are down to much fewer deaths, fewer people in the hospital. Massive amounts of people have already been vaccinated.
Right.
Over 70% of the population, upwards of 90% and 95% of those 65 and older. This is unconstitutional, unscientific. It ignores religious and medical exemptions. I mean, across the board, this is something, no one should be forced to choose between their livelihood and taking a medication that is still, for all practical purposes, still under investigation. So, yeah, this is a massive overreach.
Plus the millions, the 46 million Americans that have had COVID that we know about that would have natural immunity as well. Nobody's accounting for that group. Congressman, great to see you as always. Enjoyed the conversation.
Likewise, Rob. Thank you.